Welcome to Mental Models Daily, where we explore one mental model each day to help you elevate your daily decision-making. Today, we're diving into a crucial concept in probability and risk assessment: fat-tailed distributions. Fat-tailed distributions, also known as heavy-tailed distributions, are probability distributions whose tails are not exponentially bounded. In simpler terms, they're distributions where extreme events are more likely than one might expect. It's like a world where black swans aren't as rare as we thought. The concept of fat-tailed distributions gained prominence in the late 20th century, with significant contributions from mathematicians and economists like Benoit Mandelbrot and Nassim Nicholas Taleb. However, the mathematical foundations date back to earlier work on stable distributions by Paul Levy in the 1920s. It's like a mathematical lens that helps us see the outsized impact of rare events. Unlike the familiar bell curve of a normal distribution, where extreme events are vanishingly rare, fat-tailed distributions have fatter tails, meaning the probability of extreme events is higher. It's like comparing the predictable height of adults to the wildly variable size of asteroids. In a fat-tailed world, planet killers are more common than you'd think. Let's consider an example. The distribution of wealth in many countries often follows a fat-tailed distribution. While most people's wealth falls within a predictable range, there are individuals whose wealth is orders of magnitude greater than the average. This extreme inequality is much more likely under a fat-tailed distribution than it would be under a normal distribution. It's like a lottery where winning the jackpot isn't just possible, it's probable enough to significantly skew the average. In the business world, understanding fat-tailed distributions is crucial for proper risk management. The 2008 financial crisis, for instance, was partly due to risk models that assumed normal distributions instead of fat-tailed ones, severely underestimating the likelihood of extreme market movements. It's like preparing for a 100-year flood that actually happens every decade. Fat-tailed distributions appear in many areas, from natural disasters to stock market returns, from the size of cities to the impact of best-selling books. They remind us that in many aspects of life, the extraordinary isn't just possible, it's probable enough to dominate the average. It's like living in a world where David doesn't just occasionally beat Goliath, but does so often enough to make Goliath the underdog. So how can we apply an understanding of fat-tailed distributions in our daily lives? Firstly, it encourages us to prepare for a wider range of possibilities. When dealing with fat-tailed phenomena, the worst-case scenario might be far worse and far more likely than we initially assume. It's like packing not just an umbrella, but also a life raft, when the weather forecast mentions a chance of rain. Secondly, understanding fat-tailed distributions can help us make better decisions under uncertainty. It reminds us that averages can be misleading when extreme events have outsized impacts. In career choices, investments, or even creative pursuits, it might be worth taking more calculated risks for those potential fat-tail outcomes. It's like playing a game where hitting the jackpot isn't just a dream, but a non-negligible possibility. Lastly, this concept can improve our understanding of success and failure in complex systems. Many successes in areas like business, arts, or scientific discovery follow fat-tailed distributions. Recognizing this can help us persevere through failures and appreciate the role of serendipity in success. It's like realizing that in a fat-tailed world, overnight success isn't just a myth, it's a mathematical possibility. In conclusion, understanding fat-tailed distributions is a powerful tool for more accurate risk assessment and decision-making under uncertainty. By embracing this mental model, we can become more prepared for extreme events. more nuanced in our interpretation of averages, and more appreciative of the role of the extraordinary in shaping our world. In a reality where black swans aren't just possible but probable, the ability to think in terms of fat-tailed distributions is more valuable than ever. Thank you for joining me today on Mental Models Daily. I hope this exploration of fat-tailed distributions has given you a new perspective on probability, risk, and the impact of extreme events. Until next time, may your tails be appropriately fat and your risk assessments accurately calibrated. For more mental models, please visit mentalmodelsdaily.com or find us on X or Instagram. Our podcast music was provided by the podcasthost.com and Alitu the podcast maker.